on stage, a guy who has been green before green was cool, a guy who really we need to credit to some extent to building up as much energy. Hey, that's, what is that when I use a pun? Building up as much energy as we've got in the room today. He is the executive director of the Nevada Conservation League. Andy Magi. Andy, where are you? Come on up. He is passionate about building political power and sustained capacity for the environmental community, and he'll be highlighting Nevada's efforts in environmental advocacy. So thank you, and please help me in welcoming Andy. Yay!
Hi, first I just want to say thank you all very much for being here today, and I want to thank the RTC for bringing us all together for this important conversation. For those of you that haven't met me before, I'm Andy Magi. I'm the executive director of the Nevada Conservation League. I'm also the guy that gets to follow a U.S. Senator and the governor of Nevada. So thank you for bearing with us here today. I also want to thank all the champions that are in the room, because everything I'm going to talk about isn't just about one organization or one person or one entity. It's about everybody that's here today that is committed to really doing what we've heard now from two speakers, which is address climate change. Because a clean energy and transportation conversation is really a conversation about climate change and the threat that it faces to Nevada and Nevadans. So I'm here to do a couple things. First, already done our thank yous. I also want to we've alluded to some of the successes we've had in the last year in Nevada, especially our legislative successes. So I want to talk a little bit about those. I want to remind us that there's still a lot of work to do, and that the only way we're going to achieve what needs to be done here in Nevada and across the country is by coming together and working together. So that's what I'm going to do today. You can hold me accountable to that. So first off, as I said, this legislative session was possibly one of the most pro-clean energy, pro-climate, pro-conservation legislative sessions we've had in a long time, and that's because of the leadership of people like Governor Sisolak, like Senator Chris Brooks, all the legislators that are here today. So what does that mean? Well, on clean energy, it means that 8 bills passed and were signed by the governor that has something to do with clean energy, pollution, and climate. So just I'm going to recap those real quick because it's a lot and it's all very exciting stuff. As we heard the governor, we capped our greenhouse, we expanded our renewable portfolio standard to 50% by 2030 with a goal of 100% by 2050. That was supported by a lot of people in this room. We call on the state to inventory its greenhouse gas emissions and start to develop a plan for how we can address those. We allocated funding for electric school buses. We made it easier for electric trucks and heavy-duty vehicles to hit the road. We expanded access to solar programs, reducing rates for low-income customers and creating a solar energy workforce. We directed studies for how we can revamp transportation infrastructure that include the benefits of electric vehicles and the cost of transportation-related pollution. We asked the DMV to collect mileage for electric vehicles and other types of vehicles so we know what's happening on our roads. And we passed new standards for light bulbs, making our buildings more efficient. That should be a round of applause. It's 8 bills. And I just want to say, it wasn't just the legislative victories that were important in the last year. There's victories across all the sectors that are represented here today. Nevada's leading because businesses are innovating and bringing new technologies to market. They're cutting their energy use. They're investing in clean, renewable energy. Utilities are getting fossil fuels out of their mixes. So this isn't just the legislature. This is everybody that's pitching in. At the heart of all this, though, really is a demand for action and grassroots advocacy. And that's been crucial to moving these policies forward. Our communities rely on strong leaders who will champion smart, sustainable ideas like expanding our clean energy economy, transitioning to electric transportation, and moving towards a carbon-free future. But these elected officials are elected by people. And Nevadans care about the environment that we call home. We believe climate is a crisis, and we need to urgently address it. The success that occurred in the legislature and through Governor Sisolak didn't happen in a vacuum. It was a concerted effort from advocates, business leaders, and everyday Nevadans, who demand a clean and healthy future for our state. Just to give you a sense, in the last legislative session, over 25,000 Nevadans took direct action to support clean energy or clean transportation action in the legislature. We're going to move the state forward, and it will continue to take increased collaboration from all stakeholders. But it's also going to take input from those grassroots advocates, especially the low-income families and communities of color who are at the front lines of the climate and pollution crisis. Their voices need to be heard in the solutions as they've been most impacted by the problems. The benefits of our transition should be theirs, and their voices should be heard in creating our vision for the future. We have a shared purpose and a responsibility to act on behalf of the future. Most Nevadans, and for those of us in the conservation community, it's inescapable what we're discussing today. It's the climate crisis that we're facing. I can go on about all the things that are impacting Nevada. We're hotter, we're drier, we've got more pollution because of climate change. Anything else anyone want to add? I think we all know. But the climate crisis is going to encompass not just climate policy, not just energy policy, not just transportation policy. It's going to encompass every policy that this state addresses, from creating jobs to improving air quality to building new infrastructure, and the kind of future that Nevada will rely on is going to depend on how we stave off those worst effects of climate change and how we'll adapt to a changing world. This is what drives that advocacy of Nevadans. This is what drives the energy behind what's in this room and behind the victories we've had in the last year. Nevadans know it's real. 3 out of 4 Nevadans are worried about it. 70% of Nevadans think wildfires are more of a problem today than they were 10 years ago. Also happens to be true, so good on that 70% of Nevadans. And 69% of Nevadans support limiting carbon pollution. Nevadans want us to act. We've been acting, they want us more. Because of grassroots advocacy, we've expanded the renewable portfolio standard. We have delegates in Congress who are fighting for tax credits, as we've heard earlier. And we have leaders in business, transportation, and across all sectors who are finding ways to reduce their energy needs to fight and cut pollution. We've said it many times. We need, in the absence of federal action, Nevada needs to lead, and we must lead, and we will continue to lead. But as we get hotter, wildfires, drought, they don't understand state borders. And we need federal leadership. We need ambitious, immediate action on climate to protect the Nevada we call home. It might not happen under this administration, but because of grassroots leaders, conservation leaders, and champions, we will push back against rollbacks. We will fight for progressive, bold, visionary policies, and we will protect the Nevada we love to call home. We will do it together, and we will do it our way with the great leaders in this room today. Thank you all very much.